Two more games for us scheduled in the morning session of day 3 of the 2023 World Scrabble Championship. We've got a familiar face, Wellington Jighere of Nigeria, currently sitting in second place in this tournament, and a new face, Josh Castellano, representing Canada, though he has dual citizenship in both Canada and the US. Josh currently in ninth place after a big win over Adam Logan. Boy, that's not an easy one to pull out. Josh looking to shake things up in this tournament, 2 games behind frontrunners Will and Wellington at this point. Would love a win and to knock off Wellington here to pull within 1. And Josh to play first on this rack, AEESU, and these last 2 tiles, L and a second S. So that's going to be an interesting decision for him. No bingos. Do you play EAU for 6? Do you exchange UE? I don't think you're going to play off an S here. I think exchange 2, likely the move we're going to see from Josh, but he'll spend some time and think about this one. Once again, I'm Matt Canik. I'm joined by Stefan Fatsis on the mic for the morning session. We're really excited to bring Scrabble, and Stefan was especially excited to see Josh on the stream, as Josh, one of our school Scrabble players who's now playing in this event.
Yeah, that beard and long hair are an indication that Josh is long done with school Scrabble, but I've known Josh since he was very young. His dad, Vince, a longtime player, my co-organizer of many, many school Scrabble tournaments in Washington, D.C. Josh only played in 1 school Scrabble championship when he was in 8th grade. He resisted the siren song of the game for a while, but since then has been a really important member of the Scrabble community. I mean, he kind of learned all the words when he was in college, not dissimilar to what my daughter Chloe has been doing. Top player, switched over to Collins, and has made enormous contributions with Woogles.io on the data side of the game. He's worked on the staff at the School Scrabble Championship the last 2 years in Washington, and he's a great, great guy. Proud to call Josh a friend of mine, and he's an asset to this community. And he did trade. And I was going to ask you, Matt, one of the conversations I frequently have with better players than I is, what do you do on that open turn, on that first turn? Do you take that 6-point play, that 4-point play, or do you exchange? And more I'm finding that the best players say, no, just trade and try your luck.
Yeah, I tend to trade whenever on the fence on the first turn. Don't give up the floaters. There used to be some logic called taking away the star.
Yep.
But that more and more obsolete. Take away the floaters, take away the 8s, more and more the line of thinking. So Wellington opens with Boked after the exchange, picks up another 5 points, 35-0 after the challenge from Josh. But Josh to hit back, and he's got another decision, first deciding to challenge the word. He's got double doubles through the O, aerosols and roseolas, but I like this play more, a 4-point sacrifice. But look what this does to the board, man. Well spotted by Josh. Cerosol playing 5 underlaps, 78 points, and far more defensive than aerosols. I like this.
That's gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. The decision to challenge in Collins is one that I've never quite figured out the math equity strategy of. That's a 5-letter word. I'm thinking Josh should be 90% certain on that, at least. How do you make that call to give up the extra 5 points? We've seen games in this tournament that have been decided by 5 points or fewer, or 10 points or fewer, and you go back and say, well, if hadn't made that challenge and given up that nickel, would have been a different outcome.
Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't played enough 5-point challenge, and I kind of go back and forwards. Of course, I'm an NWL player, and I know that my CSW opponents know that, so I know they can capitalize on me. I don't know half the stuff they could put down. CSW has about 30 or 35% more words in the NWL lexicon. So certain opponents, I play the gentleman's game. I assume they're not just going to go out of their way to phony me, and I don't challenge them often. Other opponents I know certainly will, and I will throw 5 points at anything that looks even a little bit weird. But it's hard for me to make that call. I've been surprised by the number of 4- and 5-letter words challenged by top players, but the upside of free turn so big, and the downside, just 5 points, rather marginal. So even if you're 85% sure it's a word, it's right to challenge in a lot of cases, I think, is how that math is going to end up.
Is it also a factor, Matt? Do you think that you understand the volatility of Collins is indeed higher than in NWL, and that 5 points, maybe not 5 points the way you or I might think about it in an NWL game.
Yeah, I mean, with higher scores in general, 5 points may be a little bit less likely to change the outcome of the game, but not to a degree that I think it really changes the challenge decision. Wellington playing Scudi here, Scudi, bypassing the nice Wuddies, but opting again for defense, as we've seen him do over and over this tournament. AAEFLLU for Josh to respond. He's got the awesome Florulae, FLORULAE through the OR. Looks like a great play, but also LAUF beneath Cirosal, forming DAL and LA, a good option for him here. Likely one of those two plays. Florulae, the tough spot. Lauf, I think the more standard play here for Josh. I'd love to see challenge rules changed up. I know typically CSW played in 5 point challenge, NWL with double challenge. I've said this before on stream, so pardon me if you're hearing it for the second or third time, but I love how Scrabble changes based on what the penalty is for challenging. I'd love to see some 5, some 10 point challenge. I'd love to see some double challenge at different tournaments. Let's shake it up from tournament to tournament. Why not? Let's change the variables, change the calculus just a little bit.
I like the idea of changing the calculus from in different events, not just in terms of challenge. I like that idea, actually. Why aren't we playing 15-point games or 15-minute games or 20-minute games or 10-minute games even, particularly as we have segued hard into the digital era? 10-minute game, a lot more watchable than a 25-minute game if we're trying to attract an audience. I'd love to see some tournaments run with a shorter clock to compact the streaming opportunities.
I totally agree. And I've actually fallen in love with the 1 minute game. Of course, you can't play that in person, but online where they keep score for you, they draw the tiles for you.
Sure.
1 minute Scrabble has become my game. And anytime I get some free time, if I can find an opponent, man, I'll play 1 minute all day.
Nothing better, nothing more fun to watch than Blitz either, just for the chaos factor. And similar to chess, I mean, we should be modeling some of the concepts and strategies and formats that we see in more popular games online. No reason not to.
Yeah, I'd love to see a 5 or 10 minute championship. I mean, you want to be respectful, of course, of the elder players who may have a harder time getting to the tile bag, tracking the tiles. So that makes things just a little bit difficult. What is the level of sportsmanship versus gamesmanship of holding plays for 15 seconds, stopping you from getting into the bag? There's some questions or logistics to be answered, but online, definitely. If I ever get back into the streaming game, I'm streaming 1 and 3 minute Scrabble as long as I can find someone to play against. We're the millennials now, Gen Z and all that, short attention span. So let's give them some different product out there. And I'd love to see a 15-minute tournament or a 20-minute tournament. 25 feels so arbitrary. It just started so long ago, and nobody's really thought to question it. So we'll see.
Not atypical, right? Rules get set at a particular time in history, and they get ossified. Nothing wrong with reconsidering the way we approach this game.
If baseball can change its rules, an American staple, why can't Scrabble change its rules?
Just going to say that. Yes, Matt. And look how successful it's been this year with the pitch clock and the batter clock.
I am a fan of the bigger bases. I'm a fan of the steals. I'm a fan of the pitch clock. I'm a fan of getting to turn on my Blue Jays at night and still be in bed by 10 p.m. That's been a great change. So if baseball can do it, Scrabble certainly can too. And I believe NASPA rules at least don't require 25 minutes. They just suggest it. So if you're directing a Scrabble tournament out there, hey, maybe say this one's going to be 20-minute clocks instead, and see how that goes over with your players. It'd be another way to sneak maybe an extra game into your tournament or get your players home a little bit earlier on those shorter winter days. I think it'd be fun. I'd like to see more of that. Clock variation, challenge rule variation, all of the above. Wellington keeping things tight. EW there. DOWED was another option last turn, making Dale and LAD. But again, Wellington likes keeping things tight, scoring points. And Josh has a huge decision to make here. He can play QAT and QI for 35. It looks very obvious. But after a 2-tile play against Wellington, you open a triple like that? What other options do you have? I think he's forced to play QAT in this situation.
Chat suggesting burning the blank for 46 with QADI. That doesn't feel tenable to me, but again, not a lot of great options for Josh to score and use the Q. He could just play the volatile QUA. He could just dump the Q in front of I for 11. He's going to take some points and open the board up.
You've got to do this. You've got to do this. QADI is such a bad play. QUA without another A is a bad play. I would, before either of those options, I would just plunk the Q for 11. If I'm going to do that, just play QAT. I've got the blank too. Maybe I draw the triple and put the dagger in Wellington. Wellington, ADDEGOS. He will get some points back through that T if he won some stodged, playing STODGED for 36 points if he wants to address the spot. But dodged looks to be a good tight play from the D, or GAD holds a very nice leave. GAD forming UG and FA for 23. DEOS, a great leave, especially with that floating T. I expect to see Wellington address the line just from what I've watched of his games so far, but very curious to see how he wants to address that triple line that Josh has just opened up.
Could he leave it?
If he does leave it, what would that give Josh? He's pulled, okay, not great into that. I see glue pot on this rack. Actually, no playable bingos on the current board for Josh, though Wellington is going to have to make some kind of play to change stuff in some way.
And only 2 bingos on that rack as 7s.
Glue pot. I got to figure out the other one now.
Oh, it is TWL.
Yeah, glouted. Okay, yep, that's easy. If I'm Josh, I'm looking to that ES as well. Like, oh god, I'm gonna miss something, aren't I? ORE double opportunities. Oof.
He's going to look at this for a few moments.
But his decision could be a lot easier based on the play Wellington makes here. Actually, I don't think any of those bingos are going to play after any of the candidate plays for Wellington either, so maybe won't get easier for him.
Lauf, the German bobsleigh run.
Takes an S. All right.
Sure does.
Dodged coming down, 24 points for Wellington, just kind of keeping things tight, but he will open another bingo line beneath that E and D. 24 points. Wellington still trails after that play, 109 to 126. And Josh, EGLOTU blank. Feel good about that blank, but nothing to do with it here. And I'm curious to see what Josh now is going to do about this big spot on the board. I feel like you've got to keep it open, right? Keep that T available, keep your rest.
Sure.
So perhaps we see a play like TEGU beneath Lauf, UT, and FE. If he really wants to get aggressive, FUG for 14 plays. But if you make a 2-tile UG dump, Wellington is absolutely going to address the triple. Let's see what else we got. Togue plays above the board, TES and ODAL. Tug in the same spot, TES and UDAL, both options for Josh. Curious to see what he does here. This is a difficult turn with a lot of similar options, and he's going to have to take some time to ensure he doesn't miss any bingos on this rack. Tough one.
Someone in chat noting Langlauf, LANGLAUF. A cross-country ski run. Different sports, different words, different lexicons. Langlauf, good in both TWL and Collins. Lauf, only good in Collins.
I love those different sports words. When we added another source dictionary to NWL about a decade back, we added a Canadian source dictionary, and we got all sorts of fun curling words. Car spiel got added, a spiel, SPIEL, a game of curling, and a car spiel, a game of curling where the winner wins a car. So I love those sports words that make no sense, except they do make perfect sense if you play that sport. Yeah, you thought I was joking, chat? A car spiel, a curling match in which
do not doubt Matt Canik on the curling lingo.
Yeah, I've basically adopted Canada as my second home. I spend almost every summer there because summers are unbearable in Texas, where I'm from. I married a Canadian and could get that green card if I can just convince my better half to move there. So, yeah, Canada's my country. Maybe I'll be an expert curler one day. And we do actually have some expert curlers in competitive Scrabble as well. Takes a special kind of person to get into both of those games at the highest level. But
Huh.
Shauna Petrie from Canada, an expert curler as well.
I curled once in anticipation of covering the Winter Olympics, and I did write a piece about curling, so the experience paid off huge.
I never thought we'd end up with curling banter in a matchup between only a pseudo-Canadian, as Josh lives in the DC area, and a Nigerian. Don't think curling is very popular in Nigeria. Is there a Nigerian curling team? Somebody look that up for me. I got to know now. Help me out, chat. There's a Jamaican bobsled team. Can we have a Nigerian curling team? No, there's not. All right. Well, thank you, chat.
The Nigerian women's bobsled team qualified for the Olympics.
Very nice.
Yes.
Well, Scrabble did nearly lose Wellington. I think Stefan has alluded to this. Maybe we can pound on this a little bit more, but Wellington clearly a very talented human being. And perhaps if he chose to walk away from Scrabble once again, we'd hate to see that. But if he does what's best for him and he feels that's in the cards, maybe that could be a second pursuit. Wellington Jighere, world champion curling player. You heard it here first.
I have no doubt that he could succeed. Curling, kind of a mind game too. So Josh settling on tug on top of the E and D invoked. Getting rid of the U and G, but sacrificing the T along with it.
Yeah, and we'll see how this works out for him with another T on the board. Maybe that T not quite as popular, as powerful, and this pull going to be big for Josh. I think Wellington will play Diva here down from the D and dodged. It's 24 points. Makes a lot of sense. Addresses that triple line. We've seen him like to keep things tight on this board, and the tugs and Lauf's spot both strong with the S he'll be retaining. So knock out the threats you don't have, keep open the threats you do. Diva, a good play for Wellington. BALS, about as good as you'll keep out of that rack. And Josh with a great pull here. EILNOZ blank. He will be able to bingo for a lot this turn, or he could bypass them and score 50 points. ZA and ZE in the bottom corner. Lionize, playing through the I and Diva for 89. ZE playing for 50. I do not know which option I would play. I just knew I would not play Lionizer here. Tough one, especially on stream to have to decide.
These are tough. The sacrificing the blank for 40 to 50. I'm sorry, playing the blank. I'm sorry, keeping the blank, but only scoring 40 to 50 always seems like an appealing option, but it isn't always the right answer.
Yeah, man, it is a 39-point difference between those plays. The blank traditionally seen as about 28 or 26 to 28 points, something like that. So simply by that metric, you probably still play the bingo here, but the blank on its own, you can see as 26 points. You have to consider the rest of the leave. You have to consider the other shape of the board. If I play ZE and Wellington doesn't bingo next turn, I'm in pretty good shape. And especially if I bingo here, or if I bingo next turn, but 89 points puts me up over 100 points. So, it puts me up exactly 100 points, I should say. Being up 100 points on Wellington will feel quite good as well. I think it's right to bingo here, but it is tough. And Josh, I think, going to spend a little bit more time trying to decide what to do.
That's ZE, though. A lion blank on a reasonably open board. There will be lanes no matter what I think Wellington does with his rack here. Tempting to play the 50 and keep the blank.
Wellington does have a bingo Embales, EMBALES, that would play with Lauf's next turn after the ZE play. or after the bingo. So whatever Josh does here, he'll get hit back very hard. He is opting to forego the bingo. I am not a fan, but different opinions for sure in this game. Nobody plays exactly the same way as everybody else, and if we all did play the same way, this would be exceptionally boring. In Bales coming down for Wellington, 82 points on that bingo. He'll pull ahead by 21, 215 to 194. And let's see what Josh able to pull. That E is going to be helpful in helping him bingo. An I or an S could be nice for cool ism double doubles. And instead, he'll double up both his I and his N, which is awful for him. He will not bingo this turn at all. Tough, tough, tough for Josh.
I spoke too soon about the board being bingo friendly still after whatever Wellington does. And Bales, of course, Collins only. Not something I had ever seen before.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it either, but chat pointing these things out to us right away, helping us out, and Ziziva as well. For those unfamiliar with Ziziva or Quackle, these terms I've been dropping. Ziziva was a program created by Michael Thielen, basically a way to search any permutation or combination of letters you ever want to search up, including blanks. You can set pattern matches, find words where an R is the third letter and a P is the seventh letter, and they've got to have at least 3 vowels, and 2 of those must be A's. You can search up any search parameter you want, generate word lists. You can also use it to study or quiz yourself on words. I know that's how I learned a vast part of the lexicon that I chose to study. So great program if you're looking to dabble in some word studies. Ziziva would be a great place to start. Quackle, a program developed originally by John O'Loughlin and Jason Katz-Brown that can analyze board positions for Scrabble or any other word game and find the best, highest scoring candidate plays, run simulations to help you understand the game a little bit better. So 2 essentials for anybody looking to dabble further into competitive Scrabble. Wellington, how did you do this? Didn't you have almost the same rack last game? You had like 2 V's and a Y and a bunch of consonants. Now 2 Y's and a V and a bunch of consonants. Wellington with some interesting pulls. Though Josh also, how do you not bingo into ILNO blank, especially with an E floated out there? Wild draws by both of these players.
How dare you not bingo, I think you mean.
Right, yes.
Come on, Josh. Also should shout out Ulu, the app for the iPhone created by Seth Lipkin. I've got it running here with CSW telling me which are Collins only words, comparing it to the NWL dictionary, so I know what's what. Indispensable.
Yeah, Ulu, a great app. So relieved to have something that I can just check on my phone in between games as you see players pull out their phones after almost every game and look up the racks they were questioning. Did I miss a bingo here? Is this a word? You can check everything immediately now. That instant gratification helps you learn words a lot quicker. So thank you to Seth for his work on Ulu. And Seth also instrumental in another huge Scrabble website, that being cross-tables.com, cataloging all tournaments NASPA sanctioned in North America and keeping results of players. You can see your head-to-head record, your overall record. Top players will annotate many games on that website as well, and you can watch their decisions as they document what they were thinking and why. A great way to learn the expert approach to the game as well and watch a lot of stuff there. They also list all upcoming tournaments in North America, so you can find tournaments to play in on that site as well. So shout out to Seth, shout out to Jason Katz-Brown, shout out to Michael Thielen, shout out to John O'Loughlin. Scrabble, sort of a subculture made by Scrabblers for Scrabblers. We have to make these tools if we want them, and we got some very smart programmers out there doing it. Josh plays Lion here, maybe missing Inion in the same spot, INION, which I think would have been a better play for him, and he's going to get hit back hard after that play. FRY out of Wellington's terrible rack comes down 44 points. Wellington able to play through that garbage. Again, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Wellington smashing that spot. And Josh, AHIING blank. Now the pull once again. will not bingo this turn, and that's incredible. You bypass the bingo on ZE, thinking holding the blank in these bingo prone tiles, I'll get one next turn, or maybe the turn after that. No, Josh will not bingo again, and Wellington may get a second one down as he's pulled into Vanatory through that day. That's wow. That'll be
wow. What a swing! What a swing, Matt. And that is the curse of foregoing the bingo. It happens to us all. I made the wrong decision in a couple of tournaments ago. Passed up ZA using the A blank for 68 versus 30 whatever. Did not get a bingo down the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely a curse. And Josh now got to figure out what to do out of this rack. You see, initially puts down BOYG and GHI. I thought I was having a stroke when I saw that, but BOYG is a word. Okay, cool.
He's problem difficult to get to grips with. Norwegian, Boig.
All right. Well, he's also
this is a problem difficult to get to grips with for Josh.
Yeah. Also, HUIA, a really awesome play through the U in Scooty, but just about as good as this play. And this is going to create a bingo line for him, or so he thinks. But Wellington to snap back with Vanatory. A lot of people in chat saying ZE, the game-winning play for Josh, gonna turn out to be the game-losing play instead, as I think now after this second bingo by Wellington, Josh is going to have a very hard time, especially after that draw. My goodness, AEIINN blank. He'll get a bingo, and finally, this turn, it will score 64, and Josh will be sad, but he is able to play just one bingo after that draw.
Juicy X-bomb spot on top of Vanatory, on top of the I there.
The way this game is going, Wellington's about to pull it.
Yeah. Vanatory, a combined dressing table and basin? So is that a vanity and a lavatory? No thanks.
I'm good. Yeah, I'll pass on that one as well. I'll get dressed elsewhere, please. And thank you. We'll go ahead and display the unseen pool to Josh now. 31 unseen to him as he tries to catch up. One bingo playing this turn. Chat just now finding it. It is Biennia, BIENNIA. It plays above TES, making ATES. 64 points. Not great. Josh, has to be thinking, I'm not going to have to wait 3 turns to bingo and then only bingo for 64. But a very sad series of draws leads to this sad game for Josh. Wellington does not draw the X for the big X bomb, but pulls a blank, a J, an M, a P, and a W. So perhaps going to be able to score well with those tiles.
Chat pointing out how Wellington turned that rack of Drek into a high-scoring 3-letter word play and a bingo. This game can just turn when you don't expect it to.
Josh either missing or foregoing the bingo here. I think that needs to be a miss. Very tough to spot. You're not looking to bingo in front of TES, but missed opportunity here for Josh. Time is running out, and he's going to need major points very quickly to catch back up into this game. As Wellington really has just been poning him. And pwn, I think maybe the play for Wellington here, PWN and PER.
Oh, beautiful. That was like broadcasting at its finest, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah, I try. He's also got options to burn the blank. You see him looking at POWNEY, back hooking AINE to make the nice vowel dump AINEE. That is 48 points. That'll put Wellington ahead over 100, and even if he gets hit back by 1 bingo for Josh, it'll be tough for him to lose. So do I play pwn, hold the blank, or do I burn the blank here for 22 points? We saw Josh with a similar decision earlier in this game. Wellington has to make the call, play the blank or hold it.
Was Josh helped here at all? I don't, in my non-Collins life, see anything here.
No, Josh is just going to sit here and be sad for the rest of the game, if I had to guess. No bingos. Wellington likely to win this game. That will potentially put him in first place, depending on the outcome of the Will Anderson versus Russell Honeybun game. Wellington about 170 points behind on spread, but with the same record as Will at this point. So this victory that Wellington's likely to pull out, though it's not quite done yet, could bring Wellington to first place, a place I think many people will not be surprised to see him.
There's your PWN.
Pwned.
Josh got to be thinking, yes, I'm afraid I was.
I know Matt's making that joke on stream right now, and I know that's how this game has gone. I've been pwned by the tile bag, unable to bingo for 3 turns. He did have Biennia, so I guess he did eventually get one, but still got to feel like a series of bad breaks for Josh here. NRT, the pull for Wellington, going to give him some flexibility, though perhaps not high-scoring plays. But you've got to be happy to see good bingo-oriented tiles come out of the bag. It means my opponent does not have them. And Wellington, really the only way for him to lose this game now is probably 2 bingos from Josh. One could play making tugs. The other would have to end in an A above TES, or bingo through one of the floaters that Josh strings out after bingoing with TUG. Wellington probably about 90-95% to win in this situation if I had to spitball numbers out there.
And what options does Josh have right now? The lower rated player would say, oh, let's just get rid of the O and the I and hope for the best.
I mean, how do you open this board at this point? OO and OBE? I don't know. I think you just kind of sit there like he's doing and contemplate life for a while as your time dwindles down, and then you just be sad.
Maybe IO and OBE?
Yeah, that could also be an option. IO has 2 front hooks, just the B and the G. You don't have a G. There are no G's left, but you will hold IN, so you can make the blank a G there if you need to. OO has slightly more hooks, which makes it easier for you to bingo there, but also easy for Wellington to block. Josh just going to play CONI, and we'll see what he pulls, but this one feels very over to me. EJMNRT blank the rack for Wellington. Maybe looking, oh my goodness, Josh, stop that. Please. You're hurting me. Okay, so Wellington looking likely either to play off the J or score some points here. MON through that O and dodged, making QIN is 21 points. JET or JUN are plays he can make as well. In these situations, when I know my opponent is trying to bingo, I try to keep my rack as flexible as possible so I can come back and hit you with the bingo back, or at least block your play. I'd hate to get caught with a bad rack. Wellington doing just that, keeping things tight. MINT coming down here, holding the J. If Josh does bingo into the tug spot, that J is going to allow him to punish the triple word square back and continue running and expanding on his lead. But Josh will not have a bingo in the card, missing once again. He's got to start playing quicker here as well. HOI coming down quickly, and time quickly running out for Josh to get back into this game.
COI, COI, HOI. Josh would like to not duplicate that or follow that up with whatever the next sequence in the pattern would be.
Fortunately, there are no more O's or I's for him to draw at this point, but of course the X is going to find his rack now and impede him from bingoing once again. Chat, this one's on you. You guys put the hex on him. I tried to avoid the commentator's curse, but when y'all all declared ZE the game-winning play, you made this happen. So if you're fans of Josh, keep your mouth shut next time. If you're fans of Wellington or Team Africa in general, put that hex on every chance you get. Wellington has drawn the P to front hook Elf, PE, and Emir. Looks to be a perfectly reasonable play for him. He could also consider burning the J there. Jape or Jupe burning the J and the blank will score 45. He's got the wonderful Perfet, Perfet, through that F, and Lauf holding J blank. That's awesome too.
Beautiful.
You can do pretty much anything you want in this situation now.
Yeah, this is flex time.
This is poning time. It's been poning time for a few turns, as Wellington let us know.
1-7 in Josh's rack. Collins only.
Oof. Let's learn a new word. Okay, blank is an A for that.
Yes,
1-7.
Their chat pointing it out. Try Axon.
So one more game to go before our lunch break. I'm going to see what kind of standings we have, if anything, what kind of pairings we have, if anything, as we start to look ahead to our last matchup of this morning block. Oh, so Josh, after having to play Wellington, gets Will Anderson. So that's a tough 1-2 punch for Josh, but that seems to be how these things go. If you poke your head above the top 10, you're usually paired with 1 and 2 immediately, because 1 and 2 have played most of the other players in the top 10 or 12. So Josh sneaks his head above or into the green on the scoreboard, and you get Wellington and Will Anderson. Wellington to play Andrew Fisher next, Alex Seaholm and Russell Honeybun. Dacha and David Eldar also paired next game. So really great games, but all of these feel like great games, as so many of these players atop the standings are world-class Scrabble players, as you would expect.
If you're Josh, you want to be playing these players, of course. If you're playing these players, it means you're in the hunt as well. You're at the top of the standings. You've ducked into that top 10 top group.
Absolutely, yeah. And, if nobody else is going to beat them, you get a chance to, right? But they are just so hard to beat.
Okay, hallelujah, Matt. Josh has bingo playing in 2 places.
Wow. Clutch. He will finally draw a bingo after 7 turns. So ZE, 7 turns pass, and the bingo to come down. He gets to play what? Retsina and Ape for like 61 points. That's awesome. Cool.
Gotta feel great. What a relief. No, actually, Josh is probably not going to be thinking that.
Yeah, just drop the mic at this point, walk out of the playing room. I did it. I played a Retina bingo on Wellington.
There it is. Boom.
Inertia.
Here it comes.
Maybe he can ride some inertia to a victory here. Just kidding. Absolutely not. Only 2 tiles for Josh to pull after this. And Wellington, ERRSTU blank. Is Wellington going to bingo back here? Absolutely he is.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So Wellington to bingo out in this game. Pick your choice of a number of bingos, just anything ending in TER, SER playing above inertia, trouser, burster, spurter. Wellington not going to waste much time here, I don't think. And he'll bingo out for 74. Catch Josh with AE on his rack. I expect the final here to be 506 for Wellington to 368 for Josh. And the scoring just keeps coming atop the scoreboard. Wellington with the 500 game last round and another 500 game this round to defeat Josh Castellano. Throw 5 points at him, Josh. Why not? Challenge it.
I think Josh will write down the score and shake Wellington's hand. And
we'll cut to overhead mic. Yeah. He's holding it. Yeah. Okay. We'll cut to overhead mic and see if we get a post-mortem. Wellington hasn't been doing it so far, but we'll see if we can get one here. Josh putting his tiles up, so he's accepted the play, not challenging. And we'll cut to that mic now.
6 to 367. Yeah, good game. Yeah, I missed Biennia when I played Ain, I think.
Oh, Pioneer.
Biennia.
Pioneer.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't see the.
Yeah, I like briefly thought that's not a hook, and then after I played A, and I realized, oh wait, that is a hook. Yeah. Probably missed other stuff too.
It was a lucky day.
Okay.
Wellington got to change his phone password now.
Other stuff there. That's another one. Yeah, I had the blank for a long time. I may have at least missed Biennia. Probably other stuff too. There's GI.
Can I greet?
Yeah, you can.
All right, so no real post-mortem from these players, but Josh acknowledging he saw Biennia but missed the place to play it. That is tough to spot. Don't really look to front hook TES too often, but yeah, he realized right away, oh no. I don't know if he saw or missed Lionizes. He didn't mention it in the post-mortem. Was it a miss on the ZE turn or a deliberate pass? I'm not sure.
I find it tough to believe that he would have missed that. That's
I
something
agree.
to spot immediately. I think that was a conscious decision that he maybe just didn't really question. You don't think you're going to go 7 more turns before you have a shot at getting your blank bingo down.
Yeah, perhaps just not one of the things he lamented on. He feels like he did the right play. Biennia, maybe the clear standout as a mistake to him, and that's what he chooses to say. Chat pointing out he did arrange it on his rack, so he probably did see it. You're right, Stefan. We are going to cut to a brief intermission. One more game to go before our lunch break today. I don't know what the matchup is going to be, but once again, we will drop it in chat as soon as we've made that determination. Y'all stay here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a bit.